Alright guys, it's me, JRTC Expert here, and in today's video we're going to be going over how to basically iron your uniform. So, in other words, you'll hear some people refer to it as pressing your uniform, but pressing your uniform basically means you're ironing your uniform. So, to begin, we're going to start off with our undershirt. Hopefully you know how to use an iron, but if not, you fill the iron with water, obviously, so that it can steam. Check it a couple times to make sure it actually works. And once you check that, you're going to want to start ironing your undershirt, is what I always start with, simply because that's easiest. So I'll go ahead and start. So what I usually do is iron the top half first, because this is the part of the undershirt that your inspectors will be viewing. Now usually when you want to iron, you always want to go one way like this or like this, but sometimes it's okay to like go in circles to get the extra creases out. But definitely try to keep that one-way pattern. Now what some people do, it's not the best idea, but if it gets you to just at least pass, I don't suggest doing this, but what people will sometimes do is just iron the top half and that's it. But I would suggest ironing the entire front half like this. That way, just in case your undershirt slips out, at least it's not all wrinkly at the bottom. The back, it's always good to iron the back as well, but no one really checks that, but still make sure you do it. But for instruction purposes only, I won't be ironing the entire backside of the shirt just to save time. But what we're going to do right here is grab the hangers here, and we're going to go ahead and hang our undershirt just like that, and make sure you hang it up. So the reason why we hang it instead of just throwing it, hopefully you know why we hang it, but obviously you don't want to just go ahead and willy-nilly just let it sit on the floor, because that's not good. Now maybe if you're waiting to iron it, some people do this. Yeah, sometimes I do that, but here we'll have the overshirt, or what sometimes referred to as your blouse. It's this thing right here. Okay, let it focus first. There you go. So what you want to do with the blouse first is drape it over, as so. Let me move this stool out of the way. Hold on, let me let the camera focus. But yeah, you're going to want to drape it over just like that. And make sure you get those sleeves out so that you don't accidentally iron the sleeves while they're on the inside. You don't want to do that. So, I mean, since the last time I washed it, not all the creases, the military creases, came out, which is, I guess, okay if you're that lazy. But still, definitely iron it. So here, when you iron the blouse, you're going to want to obviously get all the wrinkles out. Okay, let it focus. But then you're also going to want to try to get these military creases in the edges. So before we start, we're going to go ahead and just get those wrinkles out first. Like so. So as you can see, it's relatively flat back here. Of course, that's not the only thing that's going to need to be ironed. So you're going to want to go ahead and move over to this part, to where the edge right here is just hanging off. That way you're not going to let your blouse fall to the ground and get it all dirty again. Which is the thing most people have trouble with, is just adjusting it slightly so they can keep it on your ironing board without causing it to fall off. And of course, you need to adjust it as needed. Okay, so as you can see, we have a couple issues there. You're gonna want to fix those creases, or not. Yeah, so you don't want to make any accidental creases. So that's why you need to be careful when ironing, especially since the iron's hot. You don't want to burn your hand, but you also don't want to get those accidental creases into your uniform. So just iron those out if you do get those. Should go away. It probably won't be perfect, but it'll do. Then we'll go ahead and move to the other side. Same thing on this side. Just get it to where you can get the rest of the back side. Sometimes I'll need to adjust it up here. So again, we're just going to get all those wrinkles and creases out. So now we're going to move on to the front side of the blouse. So that'd be this right here. Again, you're just going to get those wrinkles out. I'll go over the creases last, because that's probably the last thing you're going to want to do. But again, get these wrinkles out. I'm going to keep saying that, because in case anyone forgets that. Make sure you iron these pockets. Most people will forget about these, but it's definitely something that a lot of inspectors will pay attention to. Like me, whenever I inspect a squad or a cadet, I am I pay attention a lot to the details on their uniform. Now it sounds mean, but that's how the program works. It's not mean, it's more of making sure you look presentable, you look good. So even if I were to find the smallest wrinkle, I'd mark it down. But that's just me. But yeah, in general, you're going to want to get those creases out, get those wrinkles out. Especially on here. Now it's harder here because of the buttons. So you're just going to have to work your way around it. Okay, I saw a little bit of smoke come off. I just want to make sure I didn't like burn anything off. Oh, another thing, yeah, so if you need to get something, which hopefully you shouldn't have to when you iron, because when you iron, you, let's see, what's it called? When you iron, you do it until it's completely finished. But if you have to leave for whatever reason, don't leave the iron sitting on the uniform, because that will actually ruin your uniform. It'll burn a hole through it. So just keep that in mind when you iron and you have to, I don't know, like use the bathroom. Don't leave that iron sitting on it. You'll always want to take it off and leave it sitting just like that. So let me just fix this side of the blouse. Oh dear. Yeah, make sure the sleeves aren't taken out, because again, you don't want those sleeves to be inside out when you iron. So the best thing to do, or that will help most, is align the back seam with the edge of the ironing board. That way you can get a proper, wouldn't say measurement, but more of like a area for where to iron. So again, you always want to look over to make sure you didn't miss any spots. And as always, make sure you iron that pocket. Now, of course it won't look perfect, but still iron that pocket. It's going to be important. Just like that. See how it's coming out nice and smooth? And then of course, get whatever you missed on this side right here. Now yeah, make sure you have nothing underneath that will like cause that to leave marks on the upper surface. Other than that, it looks good. It's not, it won't be completely perfect. It should be completely perfect, but again, for instruction purposes and demonstrating, it won't be 100% perfect, obviously. But this should give you an idea of what it should look like. Okay, so now that we got the blouse, well, not the blouse isn't done yet, but once we got this part of the blouse done, you want to find those creases, take it like that, and then just lay it onto the ironing board. And you're going to want to make sure you got that nice crease in there, as if it was already there. Once you got that, you're going to want to take your iron, and you're going to place it right there. You're just going to go along that crease. Now, occasionally, sometimes your uniform will move out of place. So if that does it, just fix it real quick. Now the bottom part, most people don't pay attention to, but still iron that, because obviously the bottom part of your uniform is going to be tucked into your trousers or your slacks. But it's definitely the up here, like where the pocket is, and your upper blouse. That is what you're going to want to like put those creases in. And if we look at the finished product of that first crease, oh dear, you can see, oh, it's the inside. Hold on. There we go. So you can see that on the inside it's very clear and crisp. And it looks just like that on the outside. Obviously you're going to want to do that for the rest of the uniform. So once you got that first crease done, you're going to want to move on to the back. So usually the front, there's going to be two, one on each side. And if I can find that other crease. Oh, that's the inside. And don't mind that, it's my dog. He's barking at some birds right now. So there we go. So now we're looking for this crease right here. So you just want to move in to whatever direction you started from until you get back to the other side of the front of the blouse. So on the back side of your blouse, there's going to be about 3 creases you're going to need to make. Let that focus out a little bit. So yeah, right here is going to be another crease. And then again, you'll want to iron right along that crease. Again, if you're lucky, you'll get those creases in there, I guess, pre-ironed. Of course, they're going to come out over time. But if you're lucky, you'll at least have a starting point of where the creases are. You won't have trouble finding them. Like I did my freshman year. And as of me making this video, as of right now, I'm currently a senior. So, very experienced. 4 years of doing JRTC. 4 years of doing JRTC, and you really get the hang of it once you learn the basics. And if you're like someone going to be a new cadet, just trying to learn your way around of doing JRTC, like how things go, I made an older video about why you should join JRTC, but I'll be uploading one about what is JRTC, what it does for you, stuff, the fun parts about JRTC, because it's not all just boring military stuff. But other than that, it does take a little bit of practice to get these, get those military creases. And it took me a good month to learn to iron the uniform. Trying to make sure that's not the, oh yeah, that is the crease. I was getting a little bit confused with that, some other uniform line, but so we're almost done with the back end of the uniform. So like I said, there's going to be 3 creases on the back, 2 in the front. And this will be the last crease, which is the one in the front. At least that's the last big crease. There's 2 smaller creases that there are, and those are on the sleeves. But those are fairly easy to do. So now that we have that last crease, we're going to go ahead, before we go on to those sleeve creases, what we're going to do is go ahead and flatten out the collar up here, because you're going to need to fold that over when you put it on. Oh dear. So yeah, the collars are not too much of a problem. They're pretty simple to do. So right here, if you're, I'm not 100% sure if Air Force or ROTC has this, but I know because this is Army, you have these right here. It's always good to iron those. Not that many people actually iron them, but you're gonna want to iron these just because they'll make your uniform look better. But they're quick to iron because they're a small flap. So that's just a little side note, is to make sure you iron those small flaps. And those small flaps, if you're a new cadet wondering what those are, that's where your ranks go. By rank, I mean those are the shoulder ranks for NCOs and above, as far as JROTC is concerned. So now that we got those, we're going to go ahead and move on to the sleeves. So the sleeves, they also have these little creases here. You can kind of see them. Basically, you're going to want to get those too, because depending on how strict your inspector is, and again, I'm saying inspector, not instructor. Could be instructor as well, but your inspector, depending on how strict they are, they're going to be looking for that sleeve crease. Now the sleeve creases are somewhat a little bit more difficult to spot when ironing, but there you can find it like that. So most of the time it'll be right here at where that seam meets. Now, ironing your sleeve and sleeve seams, or sleeve, your sleeve seams, I forgot the word. You're gonna just same thing with the rest your uniform. You're gonna iron just right on that, and then just iron the sleeve like so. And of course, adjust it. You don't want those ugly other wrinkles in it and those other creases. That's the word, creases. Yeah, you're gonna iron along the crease and take out any unnecessary creases like that one. And then for those who wonder if it's necessary to iron your uniform, it's necessary if you want to pass, is what I'm going to tell you. I can't tell you how many people have failed uniform inspection because they don't iron it. Now some schools are more lenient on that, but I've been to some schools that have actually, you could easily fail. And a lot of schools, what they do is if you have the same mistake the next week you wear your uniform, that's minus double the score that you would usually get, or minus double the points, I should say. Again, we'll do the same thing for this sleeve. Again, iron right along that seam, or that edge right there, and then iron the rest of the sleeve while trying to get the rest of those crinkles and those wrinkles out. And that, cadets, is how you that's a basic to ironing the blouse of your uniform. Again, this is just a basic tutorial. We're going to put on the same hanger as our undershirt, because that's what you're going to be wearing over. There we go. Now in a later video, I will actually go over putting on the uniform devices onto the actual uniform itself. But that'll be later. So the last thing we have here is the trousers, or the slacks. Right here. Now the slacks, they're somewhat easy to do. Again, I've been doing this for like almost 4 years now. And I've kind of gotten better at it. But the easiest way to do your slacks is Well, first, always make sure you have your pockets on the outside before you iron, because you don't want those pocket markings on your pants when you iron. And then with these also have creases. So there's a lot of creases when you do your uniform. And so, but one of the easiest things to do is just find that crease. Go up to right here. Now, you don't want to go all the way up to the crotch because it will feel uncomfortable when you wear it. So just only go up as far as you need to. I'd say go up to like maybe right before the bottom of the zipper, if you know what I mean, on the uniform pants. If not, you can go all the way. Just be warned, it'll be a little bit uncomfortable, and that's one issue. Is the edge of the pants are like heavy, so they tend to fall easily. So once you get that crease in, what you're going to want to do with the rest of your pant leg is just flatten it out and just iron it. It's not that hard. Some people like to do it, put the pant leg onto the ironing board. Some people have trouble with it. So what I do is I just iron it like this. Lightly, so that you don't go all the way through and mess up the other side. Now some people are a little bit more lenient when inspecting the pants because they're your pants, they get sat in. They're easily wrinkled, especially when you're walking everywhere and then you sit down. So not too many people are that strict with the pants or the pant legs. Go once again, look for that front crease. And then there goes that pant leg again, falling. So yeah, that's probably going to be the one major challenge for new cadets when they first start ironing their own uniform, is ironing, getting those creases in, and then keeping the pant leg on the ironing board. Trust me, 4 years and it's still a challenge for me sometimes. It's gonna be okay though. Oh dear. Again, usually you're going to want to get both sides, but just to save time and stuff, because I'm sure you don't have all the time in the world to watch this, I'll do one side of each one, but you get the idea. You need to iron both sides if you want to pass. So once we got that done, so now you have both the pant legs done. The actual pants that you're bottom goes in, I would say, I guess. It's a little bit harder to iron, and last time I tried to iron it, it looked really bad. So they don't really check for that anyways. The only thing they'll check on your this region is that back button, so just always make sure that's buttoned when you get inspected. And we're going to go ahead and hang the thing, the pants, the trousers again. So I personally like to hang it like this, just like that, and then just gonna want to hang it either on the same door or on the opposite door. There we go. So that has been ironing your uniform. I know it was a little bit confusing maybe and stuff, but that's basically the basics to it. Again, always be careful with an iron. And yeah, later on I'll be going over how to put the uniform devices on your blouse, like your ribbons and your medals and stuff. But yeah, that's it. And I will be seeing you in the next video.